Got a secret play up my sleeve, a touchdown dream you won't believe. It's the game we love the most, the most. Fantasy football, anonymous, we're the ones you can always trust.
Hello and welcome to Fantasy Football's Anonymous, the only fantasy podcast for addicts where we guarantee you will not get clean because we are hooked on fantasy football. We are addicted, and I have a question for you to start off our show today. Do you think you can name 10 original characters from the Backyard Sports franchise that we grew up playing in the late 90s, early 2000s? How about this? Over, under, how many characters do you think you can name?
Under 10.
From the original games. Under 10? Okay, do you think you can do 5?
If I think on it hard enough, maybe. But I know, obviously, there's one that comes to mind, which I think everyone would get right off the bat.
Which is?
Pablo Sanchez.
Pablo Sanchez. Good old Pablo Sanchez. How many hours do you think you grew up playing those games as a kid?
Oh, my goodness. That game was the absolute best game ever. And I literally saw your hat as we were starting this, and I was going to ask you. I was like, no way, because I have not seen that name in forever.
They're apparently bringing the game back, which I'm excited about. And they put all the original games on Steam. So I'm like, I kind of want to have my kids play, because Backyard Baseball was like a core memory. Backyard Football on the PC on your, it took you 3.5 minutes to boot up your computer, and it would lag and crash halfway through every game. But yeah. Those were the days.
Okay. Was it also on Nintendo GameCube? I feel like I remember playing it on like a little bit better of a device, or maybe PlayStation or something.
If it was, I don't remember. So okay. I don't know if I ever played it there, but yeah. Okay, do you think you can name any other characters?
I can like picture them, but as far as their names go, Sanchez, none of them are coming to mind.
No, you don't think so?
No. If you start saying some of the names, I would.
I'm sure you would start to remember them. Someone like Stephanie Morgan, Dante Robinson, Pete Wheeler, Ernie Steele.
Pete Wheeler. And they had some actual athletes in there too. Like, right.
In the later games, they brought in like actual baseball players, Jerry Rice in the football games, all that stuff. But the original core characters, that was such a fun game growing up. I'm excited for it to come back. I'm a little disappointed that you only could name one player. Probably should have turned around and had me ask and see if I could have known any of them.
Yeah,
I bet you my brother played those games so much. I bet you if we had him on, he could probably name 15 of them just off the top of his head growing up. All right, but I have a fantasy-related question to start our show.
All right.
What is the most embarrassing way you have ever lost a fantasy matchup?
Most embarrassing way I've ever lost a fantasy matchup? Man, that's tough.
It could have been like you made a bad decision or some weird rule, or like a quarterback takes a knee and you lose the game on the 1 yard. You ever had those type of things? What's the most embarrassing, sad? Or you pulled somebody, you're like, this guy's going to go off, and you started Woody Marks over Derrick Henry and you lost because you did something like that.
I know there's been moments because obviously we've been playing for years and years and years. So I remember like there's one league that I'm in that's really high scoring, my ESPN league, and just the way the point system works, like a quarterback throws a pick and you lose like 7 points or something crazy. And it's very hard for quarterbacks to even put up points in that league.
Wow.
And I want to say that there was a week where my quarterback got negative points and I barely lost, like just by a few points. And basically, had I not started a quarterback, I would have won that game. And so that league is just crazy scoring. And even last week in that league, my kicker, I started Joey Sly, the Titans kicker, and the way the scoring is, he got me negative points last week. And I think he ended with -6. And so I still won last week, but there's been moments where I have lost and I'm like, man, I should have just not started anybody. What about you?
All right. So 2 years ago, I was winning heading into Monday night. I had a kicker or defense. I had a defense and they had no one else. And I left my defense, who was playing like the easiest matchup, like they were like supposed to be the best defense of the week. And they got me -3 points and I lost by 2 points. And so I'm like, I'm never going to let that happen. So this past year in our church league, I was winning by like 0.02 points, like the smallest of margins. And all I had left was a kicker or whatever it was. So I didn't play them on Monday night. And on Tuesday, stat corrections. And one of my players received 5 less passing yards, and I lost by 0.01 points because I didn't play the kicker, who scored like 17 fantasy points on Monday Night Football. And that was probably the most embarrassing and disappointing. Those 2 back-to-back years were very frustrating and very disappointing.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. All right, I got a question for you. You called Woody Marks breakout last week. You started him in a league, right? Before anybody else was talking about him. Did you win that league? where you
I
started
did.
him
Yep, I won that.
because of starting him.
Yes. Okay, there's 2 players that I started, and I think one of these is gonna lead us into your shirt. I started Jackson Dart when you said, "Is he the only person that you can get?" Remember? And I
Yeah.
was talking about the waiver wire, we were talking about the options, it was like him or Trevor Lawrence or whoever, and CJ Stroud, I think, was an option. But I started him and I started Woody Marks, and because of those 2 starts, I won the game.
Wow.
Had I
What
started,
did?
because I would have started Cam Ward over Jackson Dart. That was not good at all. That would have been terrible. And I would have started Bill Ja'Cory, however you say his name,
Yeah.
over Woody Marks. And so those 2 waiver wire pickups and starts, I mean, they won that game for me.
I have to say you might be the most accurate predictor of fantasy football outside of anything Tennessee Titans related of anyone I know because you also played Chase Claypool. Do you remember
Yep,
years ago when he had more yards and touchdowns in that game than like basically his entire career combined? Nobody
yep.
had ever heard of him. You started him in a league and won because you did that. Do you remember that?
I do. And here's the crazy thing about Chase Claypool. When I was working in Dallas, did I tell you about the time that I met him?
Yeah.
So the only reason I knew about him was because he came in and I met him and his entire family and his mom, obviously we know how moms are. They're their son's biggest fans. And so she was like, my son is going to make it in the league. He's going to be an incredible receiver. I never heard of the guy. And so I'm like, I'm looking him up at Notre Dame or whatever. And so now I'm like, oh, you know what? Like she actually might be right. He looks pretty solid. And so I wanted to take him to fantasy because I'm like, I've met the guy, like, we'll just see what happens. And yeah, somehow I had him in my starting lineup like that first his rookie year or whatever, when no one knew who he was or what he was going to do, and he did well. And then I traded him at his high value too, which was another awesome thing.
I don't know if I remember like everything correctly, but it was like week 2 or 3 that he had that season, that like crazy game. And the first week or two, like he had barely run routes. He had like a 0% route participation. And you start a guy who's run 0 routes in the first 2 weeks, no injuries. He has 3 touchdowns on 4 catches for 100 and something yards. You've had a couple of those, and as a result, I'm now wearing a Tennessee Titans, sort of T-shirt because somebody predicted the 0-3 Giants were going to beat the 3-0 Chargers, and you were right yet again.
I'm telling you, Jackson Dart looked so fun, and when we made that bet, I felt so confident that the Giants were going to beat the Chargers. But then after we made the bet, like after the episode, I was like, yeah, that's probably not happening. But my
Yeah.
goodness, Jackson Dart looked awesome. I am so bummed about Malik Neighbors. Like they finally have an exciting quarterback. They've got Scatabo. That offense would be so fun. Like honestly, I mean, I feel like every episode I've been talking up the Giants, and I'm probably more of a Giants fan than I am Titans fan this year because the Titans are just awful.
I mean,
But
Malik Neighbors is a fun player to watch. Scatabo is such a fun running back to watch. I can't think of a running back this season who maybe is more fun to watch than him so far. So he has looked good. Did Jackson Dart actually look good though?
did you see his touchdown run?
Yeah, with the Red Sea parted and he walked on dry land into the end zone.
Yeah,
That one?
yeah. He just I don't know. He's got like a fire about him, like a passion, and like
Yeah.
I didn't watch the whole game, but like the highlights that I saw and what I did watch in that game, he was just at least exciting to watch. And it wasn't a Russell Wilson. Like to me, Russell Wilson is
I
done.
gotcha.
Like and so I don't know. I think
Watchability. Jackson Dart is a higher watchability player. Like Jameis Winston for all his flaws, high watchability player. Carson Wentz
yes,
for all his flaws, high watchability player. You're saying Jackson Dart's a high watchability player.
which
I
I,
wouldn't disagree, but he did only complete 13 passes for barely 100 yards.
but
I don't know.
he didn't have Malik Neighbors for the majority of that game, and so he's throwing to Jalen Hyatt, Wandell Robinson. Like I feel like he doesn't have a ton of options at this
Yeah.
point.
No, I don't disagree.
Another question though about Giants quarterbacks. The Bengals need like I don't know about Jake Browning, and there's other teams too that are struggling, but like I feel like Russell Wilson or Jameis to me would make sense for these teams to trade for. I'm kind of surprised they haven't. Maybe they just want to see how Jackson Dart does another game or two before they do that. But do you feel like they're going to trade one of those guys away?
I think it all kind of depends on like the right team, the right situation. Is Russell Wilson being a great mentor to Jackson Dart, or is Russell Wilson like I'm still wanting to try to compete and I want to go throw to Jamar Chase and T Higgins every week. I think that's a factor. I think I would love that for fantasy wise because Jamar Chase and T Higgins, their value is so diminished. You give them Russell Wilson and they're back to maybe not the same. They're not the same tier, but they're Russell Wilson throws a great deep ball and they would be exciting again. He would match that team very well with the skill set of those guys. So I would love to see them make that, even just for football's sake. Like the Bengals have primetime games coming up. I don't want to watch,
Jake
you
Browning.
know, Chase Brown have 2 carries for 1 yard and then the ball thrown in the dirt. I want to have good, entertaining football moving forward for the rest of the year. So I do know
Yeah.
it's hard to have an offense built around, Joe Burrow and then bring in a quarterback, learn new terminology, start with a small playbook. Like that's a difficult thing. And it,
Hmm.
it doesn't normally historically lead to like, hey, this turns us into a playoff contender type move. But yes, I would like that.
Be fun. Well, before we
Yeah.
fully move off the Giants game, let's just show us your shirt. So, what is this? Is this just a copy? Okay, you printed out a sheet of paper and you got the Titans logo on it. Okay, hey, I'll take that. I'm sure
I'm so sorry.
Going to Goodwill in Tampa is going to be tough to find a Titan shirt. So, no, it looks great.
Yeah, it does. I would have gladly worn the jersey you're wearing is very nice. I would have gladly
Yep,
worn a DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, how many jerseys do you own?
I've got. There's some at my parents' house in Florida still that I need to get, but outside of those, at least here, I've
If I had
got.
known that, I could have driven to your parents' house and gotten them.
Why did I not think that? Oh man.
Oh, that would have been
Um,
that would have been great. Maybe next week.
yeah,
Maybe next week I'll do that.
Yeah, I wanted to show this jersey. You probably can't see it really, but I've got signatures here. And let me just tell you how big of a regret these signatures are. This is Amy Adams Strunk, the Titans owner. Currently, I'm praying for a miracle that she'll sell the team. And then this is Legarius Sneed's signature, who we signed to way too much of a contract and he's done nothing. So definitely regret those. And then I'm wearing a DeAndre Hopkins jersey. And this is just a reminder as a Titans fan that anyone that's fun to watch, we trade away. Him, AJ Brown, Derrick Henry. So anyway, this jersey is very sad to wear, but also I'm still repping my team.
It's a cool
But
jersey.
yeah,
It's the Oilers, right? It's the retro
yeah,
alternate Oilers. That's a
yeah.
cool jersey.
Which y'all's creamsicles are awesome too.
I agree. I
I,
agree.
I wouldn't mind one of those since eventually I'm going to probably have to convert and become a Bucks fan if the Titans continue on the way that they are. But
Just in the playoffs. You can root for us in the playoffs once the playoffs come around.
there we go. But yeah, as far as how many jerseys I have, I would say in my room right now, I have a Corey Davis, I have DeAndre Hopkins, I have 2 Cam Wards, so that's 4, and I
2
might have
Cam
my.
Ward jerseys?
Yep, that one was cool because I ordered the Oilers one, but they gave me the wrong one. They sent me the wrong one, and so I emailed them and was like, "I was wanting this one," and then they ended up sending me the one that I wanted. So then I got to keep both. So that was
That
awesome.
is awesome.
But so I've got 2 Cam Wards, and then I want to say I have a Kendall Wright here, a Kendall Wright jersey, which that's kind of crazy to think about. But then at my parents' house, I've got like a Justin Hunter jersey, I've got a Chris Johnson jersey, Vince Young, I want to say. Never got Marcus. I don't think I ever got a Marcus Mariota jersey. No, I have a Jake Locker jersey, not a Vince Young. But yeah,
Another number 10, right? Another
yep,
Titans number 10.
yep. What
You guys
about
had a
you?
lot of quarterbacks. I have a Emeka Ibuka, which is the first jersey I have purchased since I was like 14 or 15 years old because I wore a jersey every single day, warm out. I still to this day, I see people and they're like, "You're the jersey kid, the kid who wore a Bucks jersey every single day." So I had to break that for a while. So first jersey I've purchased in a long time, Emeka Ibuka, and then I got at a garage sale a Derek Brooks jersey, like a retro, like
Nice
like an
55.
original. Yeah, it's pretty old. It's probably 30 years old now. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes, those are my jerseys. All right, fantasy football. Did you make any trades this week in fantasy, buying or selling anybody?
Let's see. Any trades this week from last week? I did trade someone. Who did I trade? So in my a league that I talked about, I think last week, where I went from thinking I was going to have the worst team in the league to now having one of the
Yeah.
best teams. I keep making moves. Did we talk last week? Had I made the Scatabo trade last week?
Yes, I think I said you overpaid, right?
Yeah. What are
But
your
we'll
thoughts on
see.
that?
But we'll
You
see.
still think I overpaid?
No, I think it's a great move, and I like the player. But yeah,
Yeah.
we will see. We'll see.
Only time will tell. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to think. I don't have my league up
Did you
right
trade
now.
Lad McConkey for Travis Etienne in a first and a second?
I have not done that yet. It's
Is it
still
still
sitting
sitting there?
there. It's still sitting there, and I'm thinking on it. But Lad each week is making me consider it more because he's just not getting the catches. He's getting some targets, but he's not getting the points that we need in fantasy. And just
From
about
what
everyone
I've
that I know
watched,
that.
when I've watched him, I've seen him have he's been double covered. They're trying to take him away and they're trying to get somebody else to be the one. Listen, Keep Trade Cut says you win this trade by 3,300 points. I don't think it would have said that week 1 of the season before Travis Etienne had really claimed that job.
No.
But so your
That's
biggest holdback is what?
I just feel like long term in Dynasty, because that's a Dynasty league, long term in Dynasty, to me, McConkey has the value, right? And ETN might be solid for, a year, maybe two. And then, I mean, but the reason I'm considering it is getting a first and second is always fun, because then you got a
Yeah.
guy that I think ETN's probably going to get me more points this year than McConkey, at least at the rate that they're going. And then first and second, maybe I turn one of those into, just as good as Lad. Who knows?
Well, I ended up making the Jordan Love
I
for
saw
Joe
that.
Burrow, and then after that, I got another offer where I was sending Brock Purdy and a first for Jaden Daniels, and so I didn't want to trade my first, and I didn't necessarily even want to upgrade my quarterback position, but I felt like the trade offer was too good of value. What do you think about that? I now have Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels,
I'm
and Joe Burrow in a super flex league. So, I have you can only start two of them. I don't think you want your QB3 to be Joe Burrow level good
mm,
necessarily because that's just points sitting on your bench.
yep. Yeah, I'm pulling up your team right now. Where's your team? What is
So
your
at
team?
what
Oh, there it
point
is.
do you say I want to take the value even if it's not the right move? At what point do you say value trumps the right move?
Yeah, that's a
Does
great
that make
question. I
sense?
think if you're a contender, then you don't do, I mean, usually, and I feel like most podcast guys out there that talk dynasty and things like that, if we're talking dynasty, they usually say you always want to go for the value, I would say. But my thought is if you're a contender, even if it feels like a higher value long term, I don't know if you trade someone away. Like I think in your situation in that league, and
Just
I'm
to clarify, I got Jaden Daniels.
yeah, so I think that's the right move for you. I'm looking at your team. So yeah, you've got, is that the league where you've got Jalen Hurts? So now
So I
you're
have Jalen
starting
Hurts
Jalen Hurts. Yeah, and
and Jaden
Jaden
Daniels.
Daniels. I mean, that's so solid. And then you've now got Joe Burrow on your IR.
Yeah. But come next year, do I look to trade one of those just because you can't start three superstar quarterbacks?
Yeah, who do you keep next year
Mm.
between those three?
I would probably lean towards it depends on who I can get. That team is a very good team, so I would have to get a really, really solid player who will probably play in my flex either way, but yeah, we'll see. Alright, I got a fantasy question for you. Of the Arizona Cardinals running backs, which one did you prioritize this week in waivers?
Yep, I had that same question for you this week. I picked up Amari DeMercado. Let's see, when did the Cardinals play? They played Monday night.
Mm, I don't remember.
I think they were the Monday night game, right?
Okay.
Anyway, I picked him up before this last game, and then that was before Trey Benson was out. And so then everyone else picked up Michael Carter now after Trey Benson being out. And so I didn't end up
Yeah.
getting Trey Benson, or I didn't end up getting Michael Carter in any leagues, but I did get Amari right before, like basically right when James Conner went out, I picked up Amari, not Michael Carter. But now that Trey Benson's out, I think Michael Carter seems like he's the every down back, and Amari is going to be just the third down back. So I'm kind of bummed I didn't get Michael Carter, but I don't know. What about you?
I did the exact same thing. When the news broke and Brenson I think it was on like a Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday. It was kind of in the whenever it was. I didn't see the news coming because I think he finished the game, or I missed that he was hurt. So when it happened, I went and added him in every league. And then by Thursday or Friday, Michael Carter's active roster going to be the guy, first and second down. And I was like, I think I missed. Well, but we'll see. Coaches talk. They try to get defenses to game plan for one player, and then they do something different. So I'm hoping that everything about Michael Carter being the early down back was fake news.
And Amari, he's more of the receiving back anyway, right? Didn't he have a decent amount of receiving yards even this last game?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. What about the
I
Jets?
mean,
I
we'll
saw
see.
you picked up Isaiah Davis.
Yes. Well, so I have Brees Hall in a couple leagues, and so Braylon Allen has been my handcuff in those leagues. Braylon Allen goes on IR. Brees Hall, great player, super talented, but you never know what's going to happen. So
Mhm. Mhm.
you want to be prepared. I'm a big handcuff guy in dynasty leagues. In redraft leagues, not really, but in dynasty leagues.
Yep, I would agree. I would agree. What about
All
Xavier
right, wait.
Scott? Have you picked him up at all?
I have not. That's Minnesota's. That offense in general, outside of Justin Jefferson, kind of nervous on just about everybody over there.
I mean,
So,
Jordan Addison, I picked up Jordan Addison in some redraft leagues. Like I drafted him like with
yeah,
a late round pick.
yeah.
and I started him last week. I think I messaged you about it right before the
Mhm.
games, and I chose to start him over Alec, Ayumaner, and Chris Godwin, and it paid off. Jordan Addison had a solid game right to the end. I feel like I don't think he had scored many points until the very end, but
He had a solid play. He had a 70-yard,
yep, that he should have scored.
passing play. He should have.
Yeah,
So, all right, what do you think about all the rookie running backs this week? This was the week to have a rookie running backs. You had
I benched Ashton. I benched Genty in one of my
mm,
leagues
mm,
this week.
mm,
So maybe that's one of the most embarrassing things I should have talked about. It's a league I don't care about as much. I mean, when you're in so many leagues, you have to prioritize, and that's one of the leagues I don't care about as much. But I think I started David Montgomery over Genty. Just a
oh
terrible switch.
my
But, like,
goodness, that
Montgomery, I
one's
think it
hard.
was, what, last week or 2 weeks ago, David had a really good game, and
Mhm.
Genty's just been looking terrible, so I was like, "I think it's time I pull him and I switch," and man, was that a terrible week to do that.
Yeah.
Man, that was tough. Yep.
Okay,
What are some other rookies?
Judkins looks like the RB1 there. Gonna get the rock. He looks really good. Woody Marks absolutely goes off this week. Genty, Hampton. We've been talking about how buy low. We think he's going to be the guy. He looked incredible this week. Scatabo. I mean, there were, what is that, 5 or 6 rookie running backs who really stole the show in a lot of fantasy leagues this week.
That is so true, I didn't even think about Judkins and yeah.
I don't
Judkins
think I think rookies very, very often the first 2 to 3 weeks aren't necessarily like, if you look back on fantasy scoring, there's plenty of guys who the first 2 to 3 weeks didn't necessarily tear up the league, and then the rest of the year was the guy. Like, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown scored, like, 5 or 6 fantasy points per game for the first 3 or 4 weeks, and then the rest of the season, he was, like, a wide receiver 1. And so I don't think that that's an uncommon thing. Like, the speed of the game is different. You're adjusting to all that stuff. The team is figuring out how to use you. And then once you kind of hit that groove, I think we can expect those rookie running backs to continue to be very, very successful moving forwards.
So true. I mean, Derrick Henry, being a Titans fan, like we didn't even really start him. Let's see, we had DeMarco Murray when we got Derrick, and I want to say it was year 2 or 3 before he really started, hitting his
Yep.
stride. And his first few games, once he was the starter, he didn't look good. And I remember he had a chat
Yeah.
with Eddie George, and Eddie
I
George
remember
lit a
that.
fire under him. Yep.
Yep.
And I mean, then that next game he went off and it was like, whoa, this dude looks legit. So maybe Genty's gonna have that, which is interesting because I was feeling like with Genty, I think I mentioned this maybe in one of our other shows, but I traded Genty. Well, I had the 101 in one of my drafts and in that league actually that we were just talking about. I had Genty in that one or I had the 101 where I was gonna take Genty, but I traded that pick away for Puka and maybe a second or something. And I felt like I won that trade, but now after this week, I'm like, I don't know. Genty may actually be what we all thought he could be.
I think he looked great. I honestly, I don't know if he looked terrible. Offensive line offense, just in general, didn't look great. But he showed the same kind of contact balance that he had shown, I think, in college. Again, essence of the speed, getting those opportunities. So much for running back is game script and blocking. Like if you're getting hit 3 yards to the back of the line of scrimmage, look at Saquon. People thought Saquon was cooked. He goes to the Eagles and he's having one of the greatest seasons ever by a running back. So situation definitely changes things for
So
sure.
true.
All right, let's talk about our picks from last week. How did we do?
Oh boy, not very good. So the first game we picked Seattle over Arizona, so that was good. So we started off the week strong,
Okay.
but the rest of the week it was downhill. We chose the
We
Vikings
picked
over the
Minnesota over the
Steelers.
Steelers. Yeah, shoot.
Yep, that was rough. We chose the Commanders over the Falcons, which that is just the Falcons have just been crazy. They go one week looking terrible against the Panthers, I think it was, and then next week they beat the Commanders. I'm like, that's a hard team to predict at this point. The Bills, we got that one right, but the Saints, I mean, they gave them a run for their money.
They really did. They really did.
Crazy. We got Detroit correct over Cleveland. Okay, so the one we chose, I can't remember if it was me that made a push for this or if this was you, but we chose Tennessee over Houston. Don't know what we were thinking.
You don't remember. You don't say. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
next time I'll make sure to put my foot down when you make picks. Then we chose the Patriots over the Panthers, which was awesome. All right, this one I'm upset about. No one in this league, basically no one chose the Giants. And had we gone with
You
the
called
Giants,
it.
you would not be wearing what you're wearing, and we would have also moved up the
So if we had
rankings.
I picked Houston, you picked Giants. We just We got to listen to each other better.
Exactly, exactly. All right, and I think after this last week, I think I'm over the Titans to the point where you won't have to do much convincing to get me to believe that
Okay.
they aren't going to
Okay.
win. So maybe
Okay.
we'll start getting that free point each week that we should have been getting. Okay, moving on. I pushed for the Bucks. You did mention that this was a game that you thought y'all might lose.
I thought we would.
Up until the end, though, I don't know. Baker, like I thought y'all were gonna pull it out, but it was a fun one. What'd you think?
It was very stressful. We did not. Our specials teams is in need of some help, but I think in the second half we didn't let Jalen Hurts complete a single pass. Our defense looked great. We just got to get healthy. We're down two starting corners. We're down, you know, two offensive linemen, defense tackle, three wide receivers. We just got to get healthy and we'll be fine. Bucky Irving
Yeah.
this week.
Yep. Oh yeah, that is Bucky out. Okay,
I don't
so
know if it's. I'm not 100% sure it's been announced, but he's not going to play.
so then for fantasy owners, are you telling everyone to start Rashad White?
100%. Rashad
Is
White
he
he's going to get 80% of the snaps, and he's a top 10 fantasy player this week. Like
okay?
running back or wide receiver, flex like top 10.
Okay,
Just
Rashad White.
because our offense, he's going to get six screens. So that's like, he's going to get six passes that are going to go for 45, 50 yards. Just that's like the bare minimum. Even if he carries the ball 15 times for 40 yards, he probably gets a touchdown. He probably, like, his floor is probably 13 fantasy points. Absolute
Wow.
floor, just because of the way our offense is. So, yeah.
Okay, everyone, go get Rashad White right now. This is your announcement before everyone. Like he's probably not available on waivers at this point, but
If you're
if
in a
he
league with
is,
me, he's not available.
but if he's available, go get him. And if he's on your bench, you better start him. Who are we starting him over? Like, who are some top names you're starting him over? Are you starting him over Genty? Are you starting him over David Montgomery? Like,
David Montgomery, 100%.
yeah,
Let me just pull up players, running backs, just to get an idea of who I would say I would start him over.
Tony Pollard. What about
Um,
him? You starting him over him?
I'd start him over Tony Pollard.
I would agree. And Tajay Spears might come back this week too.
Yes, I would start him over. Yeah, oh, Tajay Spears. Yes, I would start him over Saquon Barkley against Denver if I had to. Not because he's not better than Saquon, but that's a good defense, and that Eagles offense, I'm just not a believer in it right now. I'd start him over Javonte Williams, Jordan Mason. Don't start Jordan Mason this week. That's my prediction.
Okay.
Offense isn't going to be good. It's going to be thrown off. If he doesn't catch passes,
Woody Marks,
Woody Marks. Yes, I would start him over Woody Marks.
Jonathan
I
Taylor.
would. Okay, I would start James Cook, maybe Scatabo, Derek, maybe Derek. Probably. I don't know. Do I start him over Derrick Henry? He's a top 8 fantasy running back this week. That's my prediction. He's
Okay.
just, if he gets 80% of the snaps in this offense, he's going to get a minimum 6 catches, a minimum 15 carries, and with 21 opportunities, probably finds a way into the end zone.
All right. Well,
High
hopefully you
floor.
just helped me win a league this week. I think I've got him in a few, so I'm gonna
He
start him
was
over
the
Saquon.
RB4 before they drafted Bucky Irving. He was the RB4 in fantasy. So we're talking about like a very good fantasy player.
Yeah.
On an offense that he's going to get a lot of the volume. I don't think Sean Tucker steals that much from him.
Okay.
So
Yeah, Sean Tucker's another waiver wire pickup people could make. I dropped him a few weeks ago, just needing to clear up space. But now I'm like, man, yeah, he'd be good to have too. So we're bouncing around topics, but we'll get back to our picks real fast. We chose the Rams. We got that correct. They beat the Colts. Now, what's crazy is since our last episode, the Rams have already now lost to the 49ers.
yeah,
But they did beat the Colts last week. We picked that, which was good. I didn't want to choose the Colts, and we didn't, and it worked. The 49ers, we chose them over the Jags. They lost to the Jags, and now they've already beat the Rams. It's crazy how much can happen in a week.
we
We
picked
chose
the
the
Ravens.
Ravens. Yep,
Yeah.
that was bad. We chose Chicago. We got that one correct. Green Bay, Dallas. That game was wild. That's the first time I've seen a tie like that in forever. When was the last time we've seen a tie? Was there even a tie last year?
I don't remember. It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. We chose the Dolphins over the Jets, and we chose Denver over Cincinnati. So we got we were on a hot streak. We ended the week, 4-0 with the last 4 games.
But we still were 31st out of 35. That's crazy.
Pretty bad.
Yep. All right. So this week we picked the 49ers, picked the Rams.
I wish. Nope. I didn't consult with you, but I had to get the pick in before the game, and I chose the Rams. We were wrong. Only 5 people in this league that I'm in chose the 49ers. The majority of us did choose the Rams. So
All right, this upcoming week, week 5 NFL. Who do we have between the Vikings and the Browns?
the Vikings and the Browns. Let's go.
How do you think
Okay.
Dylan Gabriel's going to do, and how is he going to affect that offense?
So in my ESPN league where I picked up Jackson Dart, I hate to admit it, but I just dropped Cam Ward and I picked up Dylan Gabriel because I need a miracle with losing Joe Burrow.
Mm.
And that's my miracle that I'm hoping for. I'm hoping Dylan Gabriel looks like Jackson Dart did. I don't know though. I'm curious if a few weeks from now they're starting Shador Sanders. It's the Browns. I don't know. What do you think?
Man, it's so hard to know. It's the Browns. It's so hard to know what they're going to do. I feel like Dylan Gabriel looked like in preseason, he didn't look like a very talented player, but he threw the ball on time, in rhythm, didn't make stupid decisions, and he looked kind of poised. So I think he's going to do fine if he was not playing the Minnesota Vikings. That is a tough defense to go up against. So yeah.
Yeah, it's in Cleveland. Do we think they have some like, spark with a new rookie quarterback and it's at home?
They definitely have a spark. Is it enough to beat the Vikings? It might be. I don't know.
Oh, you
I
know
don't
what?
see this being I don't see
Is
this
it
being a
an
high scoring game.
it's an international game, isn't it? It's not even in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, no, it's in where is it?
Is it
The last game
London
was
or
in
Dublin?
Dublin. Where's this game? I
I'm
think it's
trying to
London, yeah.
Okay. So his first start, that's kind of cool. His first start's an international game.
It
So
is.
it's Carson Wentz versus Dylan Gabriel.
Oh man. So what's your prediction? What's your vote?
I went with the Browns, but you're making a good case for the Vikings defense, and I don't know, it's tough.
Listen, maybe they're able to run the ball, push, and maybe their Dylan Gabriel makes just enough third down completions, and they score 14 points, and Miles Garrett holds the Vikings under 14. I'm down to go with the Browns.
Let's do it. It feels like the
International
fun
games
pick.
are so hard to predict,
Yep.
and we also do need to start getting some of these right, so we don't keep coming in last place in your
I know
pick
it's
'em
bad.
thing.
We're we're a second half team. We'll make a comeback. I'm not
Yeah.
worried. We're only 4 weeks in.
All right. Yes, totally. All right. Ravens versus Texans. No Lamar Jackson.
So true. I went with Ravens, but you bring up a good point. The fact that Lamar
Their
Jackson's out.
defense has been terrible. Derrick Henry has been fumbling, and you have no Lamar Jackson.
You know what? I think you're onto something. I think the Texans do win this one.
Do you really?
They
I don't know if I think they win, but
well,
I don't feel confident.
maybe it's like recency bias or something, but they just demolished the Titans. They beat us 27-0 or whatever it was. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that was a good bounce back game for them that they needed. And now you've got the Ravens without Lamar. The Texans got a chance. They've got a pretty big chance to beat them.
All right. So you were leaning Baltimore. What do you lean now?
It's in Baltimore. Let's go Houston. What do you think?
I like it. We're picking all the underdogs. We need this to come back. So let's do it.
All right.
Saints
game you got next?
Giants. Spencer Rattler versus Jackson Dart.
You know where I'm
The
going.
marquee matchup. You're going with your second favorite team in the NFL, the New York Football Giants.
And it's in New Orleans, but it's the Saints. If there's any team that might be worse than the Titans, it's the Saints. And I don't think they are worse than the Titans. I think we are the absolute bottom of the barrel.
So I'm so sorry to agree with you.
Yeah, but I think the Giants, they're the better team.
All
do you
right,
think?
Giants. I'm down for the Giants. All right, what about Eagles Broncos? What'd you pick for them?
I chose Broncos, but I think that's because I've chosen against the Eagles the last 3 weeks, and I want the Eagles to lose. And I think at some point their time is coming. And Denver, I thought they were going to lose to y'all. They didn't. And I think Denver's a good team too. I think they could lose to them. It's in Philly though.
I think Denver's offensive line is if Denver wins, it's because their offensive line. They have a very good offensive line. They're able to move the ball.
RJ Harvey
if they
looked
win,
good
it's because
last
of the
week too.
Broncos. Trade away J.K. Dobbins if you have him.
You think so? You think RJ is starting to take over?
I drafted him in a bunch of leagues, and I don't know if I have him in any leagues yet left. Because after he had a few good games, I was like, sell high.
On JK?
Assume Harvey is going to eat into his production as the season goes on.
Yeah.
So, all right, Cowboys versus Jets.
So are we going Denver?
Yeah, let's go Denver. Cowboys. Jets.
I think we got to go Cowboys. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see how the Jets win, but who knows?
Do you feel like Dak Prescott has become a much better quarterback in your eyes as you see him surrounded by what talent does he have on his team right now? Like, name a superstar that's currently playing for the Dallas Cowboys.
That's a great point. They don't have one. I mean, outside of maybe Diggs on defense, and George Pickens is looking like a superstar. I mean, my
George
goodness.
Pickens has looked good last week, yeah. But I mean, he looks like an incredible quarterback right now. He's making some throws under duress on the move that has very much impressed me this year. So
I would agree.
he's looked good. All right. So we're going Cowboys. What about Colts Raiders? I think we got to pick the Colts.
Yep, I'm going Colts. They look like a good team this year.
I agree. Panthers, Dolphins. Dolphins look like they're trying again and they're playing, and then they lose Tyreek Hill.
So sad.
He has a gruesome injury. Hate that.
Yeah. Who are you going with?
In this game, no Chupa Hubbard, no Tyreek Hill. Let's go Dolphins.
I like it. Now back on the Raiders game for a second. Do we think Genty has another big game? Like, do you think it's kind of from here on out he's a must start?
I think he is I unless you have too many other running backs, you start him. Like he's like worst case scenario, like even if he's your RB3, he's in your flex. Like you got to start him. Like he's going to start every week. He's a high volume, talented running back. You have to start those players every week.
Yep.
Pretty much regardless of matchup. And you never would ever substitute him out for someone like David Montgomery, just ever.
Terrible.
So terrible.
That's where I'm about to be with Lad McConkey. I'm about to start benching him in leagues too because I'm like, my goodness, this guy.
He's gonna have 30 points and you're gonna regret it.
That's
That's
what I
just
need.
what happens in fantasy
I
every
need to
time.
bench him. Maybe I need to bench him for the benefit of everyone watching
Of the
and
entire
anyone that.
fantasy community.
Mhm.
All right, take one for the team, Craig. All right, I pick Seattle over Tampa.
Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah, we got no Bucky Irving, no Mike Evans, no Jalen McMillan, no Luke Gedeke.
You have Worfs.
We have Wirfs, and
And you have
Godwin played this
Godwin.
last week. You know,
I mean, okay, I will say Seattle has surprised me. They've been better than I thought they would be. I don't
yes,
see how y'all lose to them though. I mean, it is in Seattle. They do have great fans there.
I see it as yes, it's in Seattle, loud environment. I see it less as them beating us as us struggling and us being injured. Defensively, we're going to be down to our fourth corner. Whatever corner is starting is our fourth corner. I think we're going to struggle.
You want me to lock it in with Seattle? Like you're that confident?
Yeah. No, we're not going to get blown out, but if I had to guess, I would say we lose.
Okay, I'll trust your judgment, but that's crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
what about the Cardinals and the Titans? I got to let you make the choice. I've already chosen.
I think we sadly have to. Do we have to?
So I chose the Cardinals because I feel like the week that I don't choose the Titans will win. So if that's what I have to do is take one for the team in this one, I'm fine with it.
No.
And I will say Logan Ryan, not that he's, necessarily like the football guru, but I saw him on a reel where he was talking to Cynthia Freeland or whatever, with NFL where they make like predictions and
Mhm.
stuff. And he said his breakout this week is Cam Ward. He said he thinks against the Cardinals, he's like, I know the Cardinals have a solid defense with Buda Baker and everything, but he was like, I think this is Cam Ward's breakout week. And he feels like the Titans could win this one. So I don't know. I'm torn because I don't feel like our head coach should stay, and I feel like if we get a win this week, it just prolongs that. If we lose, I think it expedites what we need to do anyway.
How about this? Are you guys good at defending tight ends?
That's so true. Trey McBride. Let's think. Tyler Warren. When we played the Colts, I feel like he had a decent game against us. Who else have we played so far? Our linebackers, our safeties. No, Trey McBride's gonna have a big game against us. That's a good point. He's gonna go off. He might get 3 touchdowns.
I think that's more than he's had in his entire career, if I remember correctly. Like, didn't he go like the entire last season without a touchdown or something crazy like that?
Did he?
I don't remember. Something crazy. All right, I could see you guys winning this week, but yeah, let's go Cardinals.
We're gonna go Cardinals. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. My bold prediction in that game is Trey McBride gets 2 touchdowns. Let's not go 3. Let's go 2. Has at least
Trey
100
McBride.
yards receiving.
Wow.
And if they win, it's because of that. If we win, I think Cam Ward has a solid day. Oh, I guess there's a few ways we could look at it. Either our defense just plays lights out and our offense doesn't turn it over, or Cam Ward has a killer day and just goes out there and,
his receivers don't drop the ball.
wouldn't that be nice?
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
All right, Chargers Commanders. Justin Herbert, Jaden Daniels. Good matchup. What do we think?
I'm going Chargers, but I don't know. Jaden Daniels is back. The Chargers are coming off a bad loss to the Giants. I mean, the Commanders are coming off a loss to the Falcons, right? So they're both coming off losses. The Commanders get Jaden Daniels back. It's in LA. There's a lot of stuff going on here.
I think the Chargers are the better team. I think Jaden Daniels is a huge difference maker, but top to bottom, I think the Chargers are the better team.
I think let's go Chargers. That's the way that I'm leaning.
I agree.
Does Lad McConkey finally have a breakout game this year?
Yes.
Okay. So I will put him on my bench, and that way all of you can enjoy that breakout.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Next up.
They're playing Dan Quinn. Does he still run cover 3 all the time? Isn't that his thing? So I see that being something that Lad McConkey is successful with, not being double covered.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Bengals, Lions. Do we need to talk about it?
If they make a trade for Jameis, maybe. But if not, no. Lions all the way.
All right, Bills, Patriots, Buffalo Bills.
I'm going Patriots.
Are you really?
Mike Vrabel and his team, they look fired up. The Bills almost lost to the Saints.
All right, it's the Bills. It's definitely the Bills.
So
they won though.
They did. So you're forcing me to choose the Bills.
Yes. And if not, I will go get a Titans jersey from your parents' house and wear it next week.
All right, there we go.
Oh my goodness.
Looking forward to this. All right, and then is it the last game of the week? Or
Yeah,
actually, I guess
Chiefs.
so just one Monday night game this week. Chiefs in Jacksonville. I saw a stat about Liam Cohen with the Jags that it said it was a Jags fan, I think, that posted it or something, and it was about Brian Callahan compared to Liam Cohen. And it said on the left side with Liam Cohen, it said it took him 4 games to get 3 wins. On the right side, it said it took Callahan 11 games to get 3 wins. And the crazy stat is that Callahan in his, he coached every game last year and this year. How many games is that so far? What is that, 17 game season plus we've had 4 weeks, so 21?
21 games.
And he has 3 wins. 3 wins of 21. I saw another stat line of Will Levis compared to Cam Ward in the first starts, and Will Levis's stats are 10 times better than Cam Ward's. Crazy.
Are you feeling pretty hopeless? Right now, Tennessee Titan fan, if you have the number 1 overall pick, would you rather have a new quarterback or Cam Ward and you trade and stockpile assets?
I think I'm a believer in Cam Ward, but I kind of wish last year we had traded the pick to get more assets because we're not ready to have a quarterback like Cam Ward. And we're just going to run him into the ground, and that's what I hate. So, yeah, we're going to get the number 1 overall pick again this year, and I don't know who I want us to take at this point because it's just the future is so bad. But we're talking about the Jags and the Chiefs game right now, and I just realized we got on a rant about the Titans, but it's because of Liam Cohen. Just wanted to say that I think he's done a great job there, like based off of what we've seen so far, and so I think there's a chance they beat the Chiefs, but the Chiefs have been looking good lately.
Yeah,
and it's prime time, so. Yeah, Chiefs.
All right. Can you name how many teams do you know have never appeared in a Super Bowl?
There's like 5.
Can you name the teams that have never appeared in a Super Bowl?
Texans.
Correct.
Let's see. So we've got the Texans. We've got the Jags.
Correct.
We've got, you said never been in the Super Bowl or won?
Never been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, those 2. Then you've got, I mean, if I sat here for a second and went through every division and thought about all the teams, I could probably get it. I don't know that, never mind, they have as well. Have the Giants.
The Giants have won the Super Bowl. Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls.
Oh my gosh, yes, against Brady. Wow. I'm like going through divisions and I'm like, wait,
these are 2 old teams. These are not recent expansion teams like the other 2. These are original founding teams of the NFL.
And they've still never won. That's crazy.
The Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions and the Cleveland Browns have never appeared in a Super Bowl. Of these 4 teams, which one appears in a Super Bowl first? I think it's a clear favorite. The Lions. I think you are correct. There are 12 teams that have never won a Super Bowl. Cardinals, Falcons, Bills, Panthers, Bengals, Browns, Lions, Texans, Jaguars, Chargers, Vikings, Titans. If you had to pick one of those teams to win a Super Bowl this year, not the Tennessee Titans, who do you pick?
Definitely not the Titans. Of those,
no, 12, not to win. If you were like, oh, I'd be so happy if this team got a Super Bowl win. I would feel so happy for that fan base in that city. That
read them all. Go fast again. Read them all again.
Cardinals, Falcons, Bills, Panthers, Bengals, Browns, Lions, Texans, Jags, Chargers, Vikings, Titans.
I'd say Bills. I think that their time has been coming the last few years. I feel like they've had a chance, and that Bills Mafia, I mean, those fans would go crazy. Um, yeah, them or the Chargers would be fun. Um, Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert and all that. So, yeah, I'd say one of those two. What about you?
If the Bills beat the Bucks in the Super Bowl, I would be a lot less sad. That's how
Yep.
much I would be happy for Josh Allen and Buffalo. But really any of these teams. More so I would say like the Browns, Lions, Bills. Those are three teams that those poor fan bases. I would love for them to be able to win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
All right, sir. Thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for listening to Fantasy Football's Anonymous. We will try to have our next episode out earlier next week, assuming Craig does not become a father on the day that we shoot our podcast. As always, like, comment, share. We appreciate you guys. Craig, you got anything to say?
Nothing else. I'm excited to see the games this week. I will say I'm going to be at a wedding this weekend in Virginia, and the wedding's on Sunday, so I'm going to miss a lot of the games. So I'm going to have to watch a lot of highlights this week. Won't be watching it really the day of. So excited to see some fun highlights and
You're
see what
not the
happens.
watching on your phone while you're in a wedding type of person.
I try my best not to be. We'll see what happens. But no, hopefully I'm locked in at the wedding and hanging out with friends. But um, yeah, I guess my question to you as we close is there going to be a big surprise at the end of this weekend that people aren't expecting? Like what's a hot take that you have? Could be anything.
There are no winless teams or undefeated teams at the end of this week. How many
I like
undefeated
it.
and winless teams? Because we
I think
talked
it's
about the
just
Saints.
it's the Saints, the Jets, and the Titans were the only three teams that have not won.
I could see all three of their games if I remember correctly. Who are they playing this week? Jets play the Cowboys. They could win that. Saints play the Giants. They could win that. Tennessee plays the Cardinals. This could be the week that there's no winless teams
That would be cool. And then undefeated teams, the only ones that are left is the Eagles.
in the Bills, right?
Yeah.
And you picked the Bills to win, to lose, and the Eagles play the Broncos. So those are
I
the only two undefeated teams, right? Yep.
yeah. Wow. Okay.
Could be no winless or undefeated. That's my wild prediction. I don't actually know if it's going to happen or think it's going to happen, but I could see it happening.
I could too. I like it.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank y'all.